Welcome, Hattiesburg, and a pleasant day to all our listeners. This is Abby, your host for Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. I'm here to bring you updates, news, and more from our community. To add to all the excitement today, we have Mississippi Moments with Tyler Fletcher and a news wrap with Stephanie Perez to ensure you're up to date on all the hottest topics. And guess what? We have some very special guests for you today, Kerigan Brewer. You definitely want to stay tuned for what they have to share with us today, but before we jump into all the fun, here's a quick message from our sponsors. So hang tight, we'll be right back with more Southern Miss Today.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Sponsorship comes from American Graphics. Located at 8 Commercial Warehouse Drive in Hattiesburg, American Graphics provides custom screen printing and embroidery. They can be reached by phone at 601-602-2277. And the website is goamericangraphics.com. American Graphics, printing at its finest.
Welcome back. In campus news, a key member of the University of Southern Mississippi Division of Student Affairs Administrative Team has earned a statewide award recognition for her exceptional leadership and commitment to advancing women in higher education. Dr. Serena Cantrell, Dean of Students and Associate Vice President for Student Affairs, is this year's recipient for the Women in Higher Education Mississippi Network Leadership Award. She was presented with the award during the WHEMN 2025 conference held February 27th through 28th at the University of Mississippi. WHEMN's mission is to identify, develop, and advance and support women in higher education, particularly in Mississippi. Before joining USM's Division of Student Affairs in 2019, Cantrell served in multiple roles in higher education student affairs administration, including Dean of Students and Title IX Coordinator at Mississippi University for Women. Also in campus news, the co-author of the celebrated book, The Inner Game of Music, Barry Green, will present a free talk on Friday, April 4th, 2025 at 4:30 p.m. in Marsh Auditorium on the University of Southern Mississippi's Hattiesburg campus. The book, which explores how musicians can reach their full potential in performance and learning, is just one of a series of books on human performance and learning. The event part of the Southern Miss-based symposium is free and open to the public. The Inner Game of Music explores the mind as well as it plays against the elusive opponents as nervousness, self-doubt, and fear of failure. Using the same principle of natural learning, Timothy Galloway developed successfully a tennis, golf, and skiing, and applying them to his own field. The noted musician Green shows how to acknowledge and overcome these internal obstacles to bring a new quality to the experience of learning music. This book is also ideal for those who don't play an instrument but feel the appreciation for music needs to be enhanced if they understand more about the process of playing. The annual bass symposium at Southern Miss will also host Green in a master class on April 4th at 1 p.m. In Hattiesburg news, the Hattiesburg area veterans community gathered Saturday morning to honor the members of the United States Armed Forces who served in the Vietnam War. A ceremony at Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 3036 commemorated National Vietnam War Veterans Day. Several Vietnam War veterans in attendance were honored. We're almost out of World War II and Korean veterans, and now the Vietnam veterans are leaving us too fast. And we want them to know that we still do care and we appreciate their service, said Ted Tibbett, Hattiesburg Veterans Committee Chairman. The event was also honored members of the armed forces from Hattiesburg who were killed in action in Vietnam. The names of 21 service members who died in Vietnam War were read aloud. It was the third year the Hattiesburg Veterans Community has recognized National Vietnam War Veterans Day. In 2017, the Vietnam War Veterans Recognition Act was signed into law, designating March 29th as the National Vietnam War Veterans Day. In Mississippi news, Hinds County and Jackson City leaders were out taking an active approach to cleaning up the capital city Saturday morning with a community cleanup. The cleanup focused on 3 communities: Vernon Addition, Grove Park, and Queens. Roll-off dumpsters were available in each one as District 2 Supervisor Tony Smith, Ward 2 Councilman Tina Clay, Ward 4 Councilman Brian Grizel, and other community members were out picking up trash. Some of the trash they picked up were on the sides of roads, such as mattresses, tires, and pipes, even kiddie pools. Smith spoke about his struggle to understand why people would throw so much garbage on grounds and roads around their own city. The leaders spoke on the importance of city and county leaders working together to address the issue of dumping throughout Jackson, asking the public to do their part as well. Smith is urging the public to take pride in the capital city. This is our city. There's no need that we should go to Clinton and clean the streets as well. Go to Rankin and clean the streets, he said. We come to our own neighborhoods, it's mattresses and trash. The garbage man will take the bags, but not the trash on the roads. Please don't dump. Also in Mississippi news, there's no signpost marking Mississippi's only nuclear test site. There's no visitor center or any clear markings for anyone in the area, and a radioactive legacy buried beneath the surface. While the federal government monitors what lies underground, many younger residents don't even know it's there. Today, the land looks like any other Mississippi forest, but its history remains radioactive. Contaminated soil and fluids were injected into the original test cavity. A stone monument was placed on the site to warn against any future drilling or excavation, but no warnings about being on the grounds in general. Despite the forest's peaceful appearance, the site remains under strict federal oversight, a quiet reminder of a Cold War legacy buried beneath Mississippi soil. That's your news update from Southern Miss Today. Next, we'll have the latest in sports and weather, so stay tuned. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back with our action-packed sports segment. Let's dive into the latest scores, highlights, and sports. Get your jerseys on because it's game time. Today, Monday, March 31st, maybe not, because there was a tornado warning earlier this morning. The women's golf team may be playing at the ULM Invitational until Tuesday, April 1st, and the men's golf team may be at the Memphis Intercollegiate until April 1st as well. On Tuesday, tomorrow, April 1st, the baseball team will be playing against Tulane. That is not a prank. On Wednesday, April 2nd, the softball team will be playing against Nichols. On Friday, April 4th, track and cross country will be at the Ole Miss Joe Walker Invitational until Saturday, April 5th. The beach volleyball team will be at the Hub City Beach Bash, and the baseball team will be playing against Marshall. On Saturday, April 5th, the men's tennis team will be playing against Troy, the women's tennis team will be playing against South Alabama, and the softball team will be playing against ULM, and the baseball team will be playing against Marshall, once again. Head to southernmiss.com to keep up with all the Golden Eagles sports activities. As for weather today, look for a low of 63 with a high chance of rain and a high of 81. The feels like for today is 61 to 83 degrees. Tomorrow, look for a low of 56 and a high of 81 with a low chance of rain. Tomorrow's feels like is 82 to 53 degrees. Up next, we have Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage, with Tyler Fletcher accepting a teaching position in law enforcement at USM. Check.
This is Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. Tyler Fletcher retired from the U.S. Army as Chief of Criminal Investigations in 1972. He recalls his decision to accept a teaching position in law enforcement at Southern Miss.
I attended the University of Texas, got my degree in American Lit and minors in history and foreign languages, Spanish and French, and joined the ROTC, only to have that come back and bite me because when the Korean War started in 1950, I had just graduated as a second lieutenant in the military police and was called on active duty immediately. The next 21 years were in the armed forces. At the termination of that, I looked around for a job and found that the University of Southern Mississippi was looking to start a law enforcement program. And at the time, I was Chief of Criminal Investigation for the Army in Washington, D.C. at the headquarters, and living in Washington was not to my liking, and since I had enough time to retire, I decided to come to the University of Southern Mississippi. And it was a very fortunate decision that I made because I've been very happy working in Mississippi.
Bill Ellison hosts Voices of Our People World War II, a new podcast from Mississippi Moments, sponsored by the Mississippi Humanities Council. That's Voices of Our People World War II, wherever you get your podcasts.
That was your Mississippi Moment for today. Coming up, we have the pleasure of hearing from Kerigan Brewer after a quick break.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mr. Sippy Beverages. Mr. Sippy Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mr. Sippy Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mr. Sippy Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Now, please give a warm Golden Eagle welcome to Kerigan. How are you?
I'm doing good today.
That's good. Could you introduce yourself and what you're here to talk about, please?
Hey, y'all. My name is Kerigan Brewer. I work here at USM in the Office of Community and Belonging, and I'm really excited to talk about the big event.
And great segue, actually. Could you explain what the big event is for people that may not know?
Of course. So the big event is the largest day of service that's on USM's campus. This year, it's going to be on Saturday, April 26th at 8:30 a.m., and we'll finish around 12.
Okay. Where and when can students sign up to volunteer?
So the link and the QR code are kind of floating around everywhere, but I can tell you for a fact you can find it in the link in the bio of our Instagram page, which is CAB_USM. And if you just scroll down in our link tree, you'll find it says volunteer for the big event. And that's like the 100% sure you can find it right there.
Okay, awesome. What kinds of work can students expect at the big event?
So there's a lot of different service sites that we'll have, and there's a lot of different work that needs to be done. It really just depends on the site. So there are some that are outdoors, and these might involve like cleaning or I think even gardening. There's some other ones where you might be packing meals or assembling like a care or hygiene package, and you can even help with like shelter animals. There's just like a huge variety. There's something for everybody.
Okay. Where have students volunteered in past events, if you know?
So there's a lot, but I'll give kind of like a little scratch the surface.
Yeah, like a little idea for people, because sometimes hearing like yard work or like cleaning up, they're like, oh no, but then it's like, oh, I don't know, we're helping the fat cat clean up their outside thing, and people are like, oh yeah, I know that place.
Yeah.
Something like that.
A couple just to list are the African American Military History Museum, Christian Services, Extra Table, Habitat for Humanity, the Hub City Humane Society, Institute for Disability Studies here at USM, the Lake Thoreau Environmental Center, Osceola McCarty Youth Center, the Spectrum Center, University Baptist Church. And like I said, that's just like scraping the surface. There's so many other ones that we have.
Are there, and are those ones that are available this year as well?
We're hoping so. We reached out to, I believe, pretty much everybody that we sent volunteers to last year, and we're really hoping to have a lot of the same sites this year and maybe even a couple new ones.
Okay. How many students, roughly, sign up for the big event, typically?
So last year, I couldn't get exact numbers, but it's somewhere in the ballpark of like 300 to 400. We're really hoping to get about the same this year.
Okay. Yeah, I remember me and my roommate signed up for it, and then the night before we got super sick, and we were like, "You've got to be kidding me!" Because we had this. I think we had the Spectrum Center one, and we were so excited about it. We'd never been over there, or he might have, but I'd never been over there. I was like, "Oh, I'm so excited!" And then we both got sick, and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" Have y'all seen a growth in the people, like the amount of people that show up to the big events?
So I can't say for sure. This is my first time really working on it, But I think a lot more people want to get involved and volunteer now. We've had people ask about it.
Okay.
So I would assume.
Some people,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would assume people want to help us out and help the community. So I'm looking forward to hopefully a growth this year.
Okay. When did the big event start?
So I kind of had to look this one up. The history of the big event is that it actually started in 1982 at Texas A&M University. It was like the student government, they wanted to create this initiative to give back to their local community. And since then, it's just kind of exploded, and it's at a ton of universities now, including USM. And while I don't know when USM started it, I do know that a lot of students really love it. So I actually had, I was talking about it with my graduate assistant, and she said how she still remembers going to it like her freshman year. So I don't know how far back it goes, but at least 4 or 5 years, and those memories that she created are still like fresh on her mind.
And you mentioned that it started at Texas A&M, you said?
Yes,
right?
Texas
Okay.
A&M.
And so my next question is, why does the university hold the big event? And before you answer it, you did already say that it's like helps bring people together and it helps with the community as well. For you personally, what do you think is the biggest importance of it?
I think the most important part is just like giving back to your community. The Hattiesburg community is one that really cherishes not just the university, but also the students that are here. So this is a really good way for students to give back to this community that really wants them to get involved and enjoy their time in Hattiesburg and enjoy their college life and have success and be like, how do I put it, like involved community members after graduation, even if it's not in Hattiesburg.
I also definitely think it could be something, especially people who came from high schools that either they weren't required to do community service or they weren't in any clubs that did it, and they just are like, I don't want to do free labor.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between like doing free labor and doing something for a community, because free labor like indicates that you don't want to be there and that like you're against your will and you don't have a choice. You definitely have a choice. But I came from a place that it's not awful, but it, like, when I came here, I saw, like, the painted electric boxes and stuff, and I was like, wow, it's really nice here. Like, obviously, people still throw trash on the ground and stuff, but I was, like, the grass is more well-maintained over here, and, like, a lot of the companies are more well-maintained, and I was like, wow, this is a lot nicer from than where I'm from.
Yeah.
How did you get involved with the big event team?
So it's kind of a funny story. So I worked under the previous kind of head of this, Dr. Dolores McNair, and she recently retired back in December. So I guess I, so to say, kind of got grandfathered into working on it. But I'm not the only one working on it. I work alongside Dr. Laura Laughlin, Janelle Washam, and Valencia Walls. And between the four of us, as well as our student co-directors, Papu and Lexi, we're trying to kind of just continue her legacy. Okay. Yeah, I kind of got grandfathered in, but I'm happy to be here.
Does it have anything to do, well, did you study here?
I did.
Did it have anything to do with what you studied, or was it something like completely out left field?
It actually does relate. I studied social work.
Okay.
So, like,
yeah,
service is a huge part of it. It's, like, one of our core values.
Yeah.
So it worked out really, really well.
I like to ask people, like, what they did in general and, like, in relation to what they are here to talk about. But a week ago, we had a guy that was in here that was, like, a head of a bank. And he's like, yeah, I'm here to talk about conserving the waterways in Mississippi. And I was like, what? Okay. Like, obviously people have their own interests, but there was someone else that was here talking about something else that also said social work. I don't remember what it was, but I like to see, especially like the community service ones, how people, no matter where, like what they're a part of, like me and my roommate just recently, we're a unit. Me and my roommate recently signed up to volunteer with the Eagle Nest Pantry, which was our interview my interview on last Wednesday with Dean Cantrell, who Dean Cantrell, if you're listening to this, I promise I'm going to answer your email. I saw it earlier and I forgot, and I'm so sorry. Congrats on your award, though, please. But I'm very interested in finding out people's, like, correlation between, because some people just do stuff, like, I do this. This isn't my major.
Yeah.
I'm forensics. This is left field. That's the right direction. Left field. And then I also do choir. Where'd that come
Yeah.
from? Who knows?
No, I
and
get it.
I think it's really interesting because some people think they have to stick to what they're doing. And like, oh, well, I have to be in clubs that pertain to, I went out the way of the mic, clubs that pertain to my thing. And you don't. And volunteering helps people.
Everybody can volunteer.
Yeah, exactly. What sort of work do you do to prepare for the big event? Not necessarily just you, like, overall.
Ooh, it's a lot. And I think it's a lot more than people think it is. It's a lot of background work. It's a lot of moving parts. So, like, we've got to reach out to the previous service sites, and then we've got to create the event on Eagle Hub, which is where you can sign up to go volunteer at the big event. Then you have to get all the promotional materials ready, and you got to get it approved by University Communications. And then we send out the sign-up link to student organizations that we think would like to participate. Then we get a catering order, because there will be breakfast. And then we have to contact Toby Barker and Dr. Joe Paul, because they're going to be speaking at it, and they're really busy.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get them to come to stuff. But
Maybe you can entice them with breakfast as well. You're like, come on.
Oh, yeah.
You're like,
Of
come
course.
on. Breakfast.
But then we've got to coordinate with, like, the sponsors and, like, what are you going to pay for? Are we going to pay for this? Are you going to pay for this? And then we just do, like, a bunch of really small tasks that most people probably wouldn't think about doing. Like this, for example, coming onto a radio show and talking about it. I never would have thought I would have done this in my first year of working here. But we do all this work and do all these little bitty things, not just because it's part of events planning, but because, like, we want it to go smoothly on the day of it. We want students to have a good experience.
Yeah, you got to make sure every little thing that could possibly go wrong.
That's
like with
literally
this,
what it is.
Like with this, for example, what if for some reason no one else saw it through other things, but everyone sees it through the radio, but you didn't come do the radio thing? It could be like a good percentage of people that don't even know about it because they may not have social media or they may not keep up with the student website. So you, like, cover everything, and then you entice people with free breakfast.
Exactly.
Look, you get to, it's what's the date for it again?
April 26th, starting at 8:30. So you check in at 8:30. Then we send you off to your sites at 10, and we should finish up around 12, just depending on what the site needs.
Okay, and April 26th is...
It's a Saturday.
It is a Saturday? It pulled up March for a second. I was like, there is no way they're doing this on a Wednesday.
No.
I know how to work my phone. It is a Saturday. Yeah, so don't tell me you have classes on Saturday. I'm your parent, apparently, but you don't have classes Saturday. You get free breakfast. You got something to do for the day, and you get to help so many other people.
And you get to meet cool people because you'll be with a bunch of other volunteers. It's not just going to be you, I promise.
Yeah, and you get to make friends, and maybe you can make a friend that you didn't know you were going to make when you came here. Problem solved. See, go do it, please. I think I have something to do that weekend. Well, actually, I have to look at that. But is there anything that I didn't ask you about or you didn't mention that you'd like to cover on, or do even just like a general wrap-up of what we talked about?
I think I'm good on additional information.
Okay.
I'll just do a little wrap-up. If you're interested, we'd love to have you there. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me, but it'll be, like I said, April 26th, starting at 8:30, continuing on to 10, hopefully finishing up around 12. You get to do some good stuff in the community, give back to a community that gives into you. And yeah, free breakfast. Hear Toby Barker talk, hear Dr. Joe Paul talk, and yeah, it'll be a good time.
And free breakfast.
And free breakfast.
I'm
And
trying
it's
to
only
make
half
people
a
go.
day. It's only
Yeah.
half a day.
You can still do other stuff. Most people do stuff at night anyway, especially on the weekends. Like, you do stuff don't lie to me. You can spare your morning, I say as I wake up at noon on the weekends, but you can spare your morning. I can spare my morning. You can spare your morning. Well, thank you so much for coming and talking about this today.
Of
You've been
course.
lovely.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Coming up, we've got Stephanie Perez on spring burnout.
Students face many challenges during the spring semester. National Certified Counselor and Provisional Licensed Professional Counselor Kinsley May says students go through academic burnout.
Academic burnout is a thing because you've been through so much in your fall semester. And if it's your first year as a college student, your academic fall semester is a lot to take in.
May also recommends students different methods to relieve academic stress.
Meditation or deep breathing, coloring the coloring book, taking your mind away from academics. Do something that you're not always pressured to feel like you have to focus on school so much. And the last thing I would say is seek support. If it's with the teacher of your choice, a mentor, a therapist.
Sophomore biological sciences major Vinnie Halsey explains how her seasonal depression affects her course load during the semester.
Maybe it comes from like a sort of seasonal depression, but coming out of January and February, my mental health is kind of like an all-time low for the year, so it's not really helpful when it's combined with trying to pick up new information.
You can text HELLO to 751741 to connect with a trained crisis counselor. Stephanie Perez Munoz, SMTV.
Thank you for listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. We're thankful for Carl Wilson, our audio engineer, and Gabby Collier, our film producer, for keeping this bird soaring. We especially want to thank our program director, Adeline Fields, our audio producer, Cadence Renfro, our booker, Austin Flores, and our general manager, Dr. Martin, as well as our lovely guest today. That's all for today on Southern Miss Radio. Thank you for listening. Remember, fly, eagle, fly. I'm your host, Abby Buzagard, signing off. Stay creepy.